If you could wave a magic wand and have a distributor, a really good distributor in every state in America, would your sales explode? Most people would say yes, but the answer is no, because distribution and demand are not the same thing. Confusing the two has cost wine and spirits brands millions of dollars and years of frustration. In this video, I'm going to show you why distribution does not equal demand, why so many brands get this wrong, and what the smart brands are doing instead. So let's talk about what distribution actually means. It means that the product is available, the product can be ordered, and the product can be restocked. That's it. That's what distribution means. Here's what it does not mean: that the trade buyers want it, that consumers want it, and that reorders are going to happen. See, distribution creates the possibility of a sale. Demand creates the probability of a sale. Just let that sink in. Now, here's the fatal assumption that most brands make. Go get a good distributor, preferably one in each state. Then go out and get placements in restaurants and retail, and then the sales will happen. But that's how things used to work, and I think that's the big problem we have today. People don't realize that what used to work no longer works or works as well. Not too long ago, 6, 7, 8 years ago, there were far fewer brands on the market, far fewer SKUs available to choose from. Distributor reps had more time. Distributor portfolios weren't quite so unmanageable. They weren't so swollen. Not too long ago, distributors could influence buying decisions at the trade level, but that's not the case today, and you really must come to a place to accept this. Today, there's thousands more brands available, both wine and spirits, RTDs, non-alcohol, functional beverages. It's just crazy how many options are out there. Today's buyers are completely overwhelmed. Distributor portfolios are bloated and unmanageable, and the distributor's ability to create demand is gone. Now, most people are in serious denial about this, and that's a problem. So hopefully watching this video will be like a wake-up call for you. I want you to think for a minute about a typical retail shelf in either a fine wine shop or a package store or a grocery store. How many products are sitting on those shelves every day and never sell? Just because something is available doesn't mean that it's noticed. Just because a product is available doesn't mean it's in someone's consideration set when they're pushing their cart around the store. Just because something is available doesn't mean it's going to get chosen by the buyer or by the consumer. You see, because availability is not demand. Availability is merely the opportunity for demand. Now, here's something I have observed repeatedly. Brands gaining distribution, but their depletions are really weak. Spending money on incentives to create temporary placements, but there's no sell-through, so those placements don't last. Accounts buying once and then never reordering. We call these accounts one and done. I've also observed repeatedly thousands of accounts in a CRM system, but very few active buyers. I've seen brands celebrate distribution wins only to discover 6 months later that nothing meaningful has changed in their sales and revenue. So let's talk about what actually does create demand. And you'll want to pay special attention to this section because this seems to be where everyone gets stumped. Demand is created when buyers and consumers have a reason to choose you. And just having distribution does not provide that reason. Demand comes from 1, awareness. People know you exist. Number 2, relevance. People understand why your brand matters, especially why it matters to them. Number 3, preference. People choose you over alternative products in the same category. And number 4, demand comes from repetition. People buy again and again. Demand is not created in warehouses. It's created in the minds of buyers and consumers. Now, what are the best brands doing differently? First of all, the best brands do not outsource demand creation to their distributors or brokers or anyone else. They're controlling their own destiny. They take full responsibility for creating demand. They also build relationships directly with key buyers, not just the distributors. They also create content, stories, education, visibility, whatever they can do to make sure that people are aware of their product. A lot of this is done via social media or modern email marketing and digital advertising as well. They also activate markets. Now, this is really important. Events, tastings, anything to engage the consumer to help with the brand recognition and the sell-through. Now, you can't do this at scale. You must focus and prioritize. What else do the best brands do differently? Well, first of all, they track purchase frequency, also known as rate of sale or velocity. They track it relentlessly. They don't stop at tracking accounts sold, pods, and depletions. They look at purchase frequency. They also track retention. They want to know how long has a high volume placement stayed in place, how many months in a row. Lastly, they keep a narrow focus. They treat distributors as fulfillment infrastructure, not demand generation infrastructure. Let me repeat that. When you maintain a narrow focus and you take responsibility for your own demand, the distributor becomes merely a fulfillment partner, not a demand generator. Now, let me pause for a minute. I'm not saying that distribution doesn't matter. It absolutely does. Distribution matters enormously, but distribution is not demand. You can't pick up one end of the stick without picking up the other. Getting distribution alone won't create demand. Distribution gives people access to your product, but demand gives them a reason to buy it. The brands that are going to win over the next decade are not the ones with the most distribution. They're the ones who create the most demand and then use the distributor to fulfill that demand. If you're spending most of your time and your money right now trying to get distribution, but very little time and money spent creating demand, you may be solving the wrong problem. I hope this video has been helpful. I want to know what your experience is. Have you ever gained distribution only to discover that the sales didn't follow? Let me know in the comments below. I also want to offer you a great free resource. In mid-December, I hosted a live webinar called the 2026 Sales Growth Blueprint. In this webinar, I showed you how brands are growing by double digits in spite of the current environment for wine and spirits. So I'm going to put a link in the description, and I invite you to go watch that webinar because it could very well change your fortunes for the balance of this year. Now, if you found value in this video, I'd love it if you smack that like button. I'd like it even more if you would share it with someone in your organization that you think needs to see this video. And we'd love it if you'd subscribe because we put out new videos like this all the time. Thank you for watching.